Hi everyone, it is nice to meet all of you in this Google Meet. Before we start our forum discussion, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Elyalene.
My name is Muhammad Firdausul.
My name is Erney.
My name is Elyalene.
My name is Uyoel.
My name is Chewen.
Okay, thank you everyone. Today we will discuss about active learning strategies for effective learning. So the purpose of today's discussion is to explore different active learning strategy, their benefits, how teachers can use them in the classroom, and the challenge they may face. So we will also relate our discussion to SDG 4, quality educations. Without further delay, let's begin our discussion. I would like to invite our first panel member, Firdaus, to explain what active learning is and why it is important.
Alright, thank you to the moderator for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts on today's topic. So now I would like to proceed with today's discussion by answering the question that has been directed to me. So first question is active learning. The definition of active learning. Active learning is a teaching and learning approach that actively involves students in the learning process. In this approach, students do not simply listen to the teacher's explanations. Instead, they think critically, participate in discussions, solve problems, ask questions, and collaborate with their classmates to construct their own understanding. The teachers acts as a facilitator who guides students and creates meaningful learning activities rather than being the sole source of knowledge. Active learning is different from teacher-centered learning. In teacher-centered learning, the teacher is the main source of information, while students mainly listen to lecturers, take notes, and memorize facts. Classroom's interaction is usually limited because most of the lesson is focused on the teacher's explanation. In contrast, active learning places students at the center of the learning process. Students are encouraged to share their opinions, work in groups, participate in discussions, present their ideas, and explore knowledge independently. As a result, learning becomes more engaging, interactive, and meaningful. Active learning is especially important in the 21st century because today's world requires individuals who possess not only knowledge but also essential skills such as critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. Through active learning, students develop these 4 key competencies, commonly known as the 4 Cs. In addition, this approach helps improve students' confidence, motivations, problem solving, abilities, and independence. It encourages students to take responsibility for their own learning and prepares them to adapt to the challenge of a rapidly changing world. For example, in a Form 1 Bahasa Melayu lesson on the topic My Holiday Experience in the Village, the teacher can divide students into small groups. Each group discusses and creates a mind map about their holiday experiences, including activities they participate in, place they visit, and the moral values they learn. After the discussions, each group presents their ideas to the class. Finally, students write an individual essay based on the ideas generated during the group activity. Through this process, students learn not only from the teacher, but also they learn from their classmates by exchanging ideas and giving feedback. So, in conclusion, active learning is a teaching approach that is well suited to the needs of 21st century education because it encourages students to participate actively in the learning process. It also helps students gain a deeper understanding of the subject matter while developing important skills such as critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity, and problem solving. These skills prepare students to become knowledgeable, confident, and competitive individuals who are ready to face future challenges. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Firdaus, for your explanations. Now, I would like to invite our second panel member, Erney, to share different active learning strategy that teachers can use in the classroom.
Okay, thank you, Epi. Now I will explain about some active learning that usually used for teaching and learning process. So, basically, there are 6 types of learning. There are 6 types of active learning. So, the first one is group discussion. So, students discuss in a small group for sharing ideas and solve their tasks. So, it can encourage communication and they can do exchange ideas. For example, the teacher divides the students into several groups to discuss the causes and effects of environmental pollution before presenting the results of their discussion. Second is think, pair, share. So, students think about some question, then discuss with their pair, their partner. After that, they must sharing the answer with the whole class. So, for instance, the teacher asks how to reduce plastic use. Students must think individually and discuss their ideas with a partner and then share their ideas with the class. Third is problem-based learning, PBL. Students need to searching for an information and give suggestion or solve some problems. From that, it can improve critical thinking and problem-solving skills. For instance, the teacher provides a ruffle cloth issue and asks students to suggest solutions to overcome it. Fourth is project-based learning. Students finish their project within a certain period of time. Then, they make a product or make a presentation based on their research. So, it can encourage creativity, cooperation, and self-learning. For example, students can create a recycled project using used materials and present it to the class. So, fifth is role play. So, students do some role in some situations. Why? It can help students to understand the real situation and improve their self-esteem. For example, students do a role play. Students role play a teacher and student situation during the classroom learning session. And the last one is gamification. Using game elements in learning like marks, award, and interactive quiz, it can make the learning process more fun and it also can enhance students' motivation. For examples, the teacher used proof and quizzes to assess students' understanding after completing their lesson. So, in conclusion, there are numerous active learning types that can be used according to learning objectives and students' needs. This strategy makes students more active, enhance their participation in class, and help students achieve more meaningful learning. And last but not least, the use of active learning also supports SDG 4, which is quality education, by providing opportunities for all students to actively participate in learning regardless of their abilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erney, for your explanation. Next, I would like to invite our third panel member, Elyalene, to explain the benefits of active learning for student engagement and critical thinking.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Now I will explain about the benefit of active learning and some example. First is think per share. Students first think about a question, then discuss it with a partner, and finally share their idea with the class. For example, in an English lesson, students discuss the moral value of a some story, and this can help to improve some communication, confidence, and critical thinking. And the second is problem-based learning. Students solve a real-life problem. For example, they find a way to reduce plastic waste in school, and this can help students develop problem-solving and critical thinking skill. And the third is project-based learning, where students work on a project such as making a recycle poster or a short video, and this can teaches teamwork, creativity, and time management. Next is role play, where students act out different situations such as a job, interview, or a conversation at the shop. This can help to improve their speaking style and confidence. Finally is a gamification, where teachers use games or online quiz like quizzes to make learning more fun, and this encourages student motivation and participation. In conclusion, this teaching strategy makes learning more fun, actively and meaningful, and they also help students build important skills like communication, teamwork, creativity, and problem solving. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Elyalene, for such clear and insightful explanation. It was easy for us to understand, and I completely agree with everything that you share. Now, I would like to invite our fourth panel member, Uyoel, to explain how learning can be implemented in different subjects and educational level.
Okay, thank you to my moderator and my fellow panelists for the wonderful insight. Now let us look how we can actually bring the active learning to life. And the biggest question teacher often asks is, can this be applied to my subject, or is it possible to do this premier school kids? My answer is yes. Active learning is highly versatile. Let's break down how we can implement it across different subjects. For the first subject is English. Instead of just reading comprehension text silently, we can use role play or reader theater. Students take on character, practice their pronunciation, and act out the scene. This builds their speaking confidence and deepens their understanding of the language in a real world content. For second subject is mathematics. Instead of copying the formula from the whiteboard, we can make a number concrete. For the instance, when teaching static, students can gather physical data in the classroom, like measuring their classmate height and construct a bar chart together in group. It make math more practical and meaningful. And for third subject is science. We can use inquiry-based learning to the predict, observe, explain its approach. Before starting an experiment, student must predict the outcome, active, observe the process, and then explain what they're finding in the experiment. They are not just following the lab manual; they are thinking like real scientists. And for the lastly, subject is history. We can implement gallery work or hot sitting. Imagine a student role playing as a historical figure, while the rest of the class interview them. This story suddenly stop being about memorizing dry fact and become a interact journey into the past. Okay, now I want to explain about primary versus secondary school implementation. Naturally, we must adapt our approach based on the age of our student. In primary school, our focus should be on movement hand manipulative and gamification. Young learner have shoulder attention and active like station rotation or interactive quiz. Keep them physically engaged and active to learn. In secondary school, we can push for highly cognitive challenge. Here, we focus on critical thinking and problem solving. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Uyoel, for sharing your thought with us. I really appreciate your perspective and the point that you highlight just now. Lastly, I would like to invite our fifth panel member, Chewen, to discuss with us about challenge of active learning and possible solution, also how active learning support SDG 4, which is quality education.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Although active learning brings many benefits, there are several challenges for implementing it in the classroom. The first challenge is large classroom size. When there are many students, it can be difficult for teachers to manage group activity and ensure every student participates. The second challenge is time constraints. Active learning activity usually require more time compared to traditional teaching method because students need time to discuss, explore, and present their ideas. Another challenge is passive students. Some students may feel shy or prefer to listen rather than actively participate in discussions. Besides that, limited teaching resources can also become a barrier, especially when teachers do not have enough material or technology to support interactive activities. Lastly, teacher preparedness is important because teacher needs proper knowledge and skill to design effective active learning strategies. To overcome these challenges, several solutions can be applied. Firstly, teachers should focus on good lesson planning to ensure activities are suitable with the learning objectives and classroom conditions. Secondly, the use of technology such as online platforms, videos, and interactive tools can make learning more engaging. Teachers can also implement small group activity because smaller groups allow students to communicate collaborate and participate more actively. In addition, professional development and training can help teachers improve their ability to apply active learning approaches effectively. Finally, active learning support SDG 4, which is quality education by promoting inclusive and equitable learning for all students. It also encourages lifelong learning by helping students develop important skills such as critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. In conclusion, although there are challenges, active learning can be successfully implemented with proper training, suitable strategies, and continuous teacher development. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chewen, and all our panel members for sharing your ideas today. So, in conclusion, active learning is an effective teaching approach that encourages students to participate, think critically, and work together, right? So, although teachers may face some challenges, this can be overcome with good planning and suitable teaching strategy. So, active learning also support SDG 4, quality education, by creating an inclusive classroom where every student has the opportunity to learn and succeed. So, we hope today's discussion has given everyone and each of us a better understanding of the importance of learning in education. So with that, we have come to the end of our forum discussion. Thank you, sir, for watching our video, and thank you everyone. Thank you. Have a nice day.